on today's installation, customer calls me up and says, hey, I want to get Sonos in my house. I said, okay, we can do that. No problem. So I get there and 4-story home, not pre-wired. Thinking, uh-oh. Well, so we get to talking and I was like, yeah, you know, we could do like the bookshelf speakers, like the cubes, like the Aero 100. The problem is, you know, you're going to have a power cord. They're going to be on top of like the kitchen counter or in a cabinet and on top of like, you know, just stuff in the house, and it's just not very custom. So I get to thinking, I'm like, you know what? We can probably do some in-wall and some in-ceiling speakers and get it custom. That way they almost blend into the wall and into the ceiling. You don't really even recognize them. Tyson, out of the way, dude. And yeah, there's Tyson. And so luckily I was able to get it done. So it's really going to be 3 or 4 part video because it took me a week in installation. But when you walk in on the main floor, you have the living room, and luckily there's a wall bump out. And I thought, you know what? We could actually do a in-wall media box, hide the Sonos amp inside of there, and then do in-wall speakers, which it worked out. Then in the kitchen, I said, you know what? We could do 2 in-ceiling speakers between like the dining table and the kitchen, like, you know, cabinets and everything. And we could hide the amp inside one of the cabinets that was hosting the coffee makers. And there's power right there. So I was like, yeah, we can do that. And then on the patio, they just wanted a single speaker. And we're hiding that amp on the outside enclosure. And adding in power out there. So that way there's nothing on the inside. So that's what we did. And here's the video. All right, take our pencil, get the box out, get a level. I already made an incision in the wall and stuck my glow rod in there to make sure we had enough depth, and we do. So make sure you check your depth before you start cutting up your hole. And always remember, well, usually remember, wherever there's an electrical outlet, there's going to be a stud, usually either on the left or on the right. Grab the stud finder. This one's magnetic. Found the stud right there. So obviously the stud's going to be right here. We're going to go on this side of it. All right, got it traced out. Again, it's good to just make like 4 little ticks in each corner and stick your saw in there to make sure you're not hitting a stud or anything. Over here there was a stud, so I had to move it a little bit more to the right, which we should still be good on this one over here. Here we have it. We have spray foam, we have insulation. So this was fun. The foam, great invention, but it made it so the box wouldn't recess inside of there. The best way I found to cut it out, literally just made like square patterns and then took my mini pry bar and just pried it out. And now I'm able to get the box in there. Now we're gonna drill through the stud here, tap into power, get power inside of here, get the Sonos amp in there. Then we're gonna start cutting out over here, and hopefully the speakers aren't so deep that I have to cut out the foam in there too. Next, you'll want to take your cutout template, get your laser, get the laser set up, and we have one cutout over here marked up, and we have another cutout over here. And obviously it's centered with the laser. Cut out the marking for the, can you see that? Yeah, cut out that with your drywall saw or your multi-tool. Again, I like the drywall saw because you can kind of feel if there's something back behind there. We had a stud, I checked it right there. The stud's like right there on the right, so it's barely gonna fit inside of there. And again, what I like to do before I start cutting away, I made an incision here, made an incision on the bottom, made an incision on the top, didn't fill anything. Came over here Made an incision, didn't feel anything, so we should be good to go. Grab the speaker. Do a test fit. Barnacles. Yep, we're gonna have to cut out some of the foam. Now, the Sonos amp is going over here. Obviously, we have the stud over here, so what we're gonna do is just drill through it, get the speaker wire from here over there. We're gonna take electrical, add electrical in here, and then for that one down there, we're gonna have to drill through a couple different studs. I'll show you that here in a minute. And what I do is just kind of like cutting like brownies, I guess, even though I don't eat brownies, but I do remember when I was a kid. So kind of like just cutting it into little squares so that way it's easier to pull out. Yep, like that. Take a pry bar. All right, don't go too crazy with it. Just kind of remove a little bit. You can kind of tell where it got super thick in this corner. And what we're gonna do is test fit the speaker again. Boom. Yeah, that works. It's flush. We're good. Now to drill through, I have a little extension bit, and then this is just a 1/2 inch Diablo bit. Speaker wire is pretty thin, so we don't need to go too big. I've already checked to make sure the electrical wire wasn't down below inside of here. So definitely make sure you're not drilling through electrical wires. So what we're gonna do, start it over here. There we go, we're through. Now we can take our speaker wire, and you can see the hole right there? We're gonna go ahead and stick the speaker wire through, and then it will plug into the Sonos amp and into the Sonos speaker. Next, we're gonna cut out this next speaker. Again, I like to make an incision on the top, nothing there. Make an incision on the bottom, nothing there. Make a decision on the far left side, nothing there. And make one over here, even though we know it's good because the other two are over there. So we're clear as far as we can tell, unless there's a sub brace like right here, but we just have to cut through that. Take the speaker and do a dry fit, but I think we're gonna have to cut it out. Oh, yeah, not even close. Almost there. Almost there. Here we go. Just like that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this little paper, I'm gonna put it in there, and I'm gonna put in some of the white insulation to help with sound. Because if you think about it, this is kind of like going in a box, and it's almost like if you're talking like this, compared to when you put insulation in and you talk like this, it deadens the echo. Just a little tip. And now we're gonna have a stud here. We're gonna have another stud probably about there and another stud there. So we're gonna have to drill all the way through, then run this speaker wire all the way down there to the amp. That's our next task. All right, we're back. So now, to get this wire across, go to Home Depot. They sell these really long bits that are like 4 to 5 foot long, single flex bit that you can put on not your impact, but on your regular drill. Home Depot is a little bit far away, mountain town. Ace Hardware So we had to get creative. Got a bunch of extensions. It'll work. So we're gonna drill through. As you see, we got the first one through. Gonna get our drill on this one. Get these out. Make sure you connect positive to the red, negative to the black. Now, before you stick the amp in there, I would recommend you get it set up, because a lot of times you have to do two things. You got to get the code off of it, and sometimes you got to press the connect button. And sometimes you got to reset these dang things, even though they're brand new. You press and hold the little infinity logo here. Press and hold that, and then plug it into power, and just keep holding, and then the light in the front will flash. I think green and orange. It'll let you know it's doing a reset. Now, what I like to do, because I'm getting a little bit older, is take a picture of the pin number, and then that way you can make it bigger on your phone so you can see the dang thing. All right, next we're gonna connect the speaker. And another thing I like to do is, see how the speaker wire's right there? There's enough room. I like to just tuck it underneath just so it doesn't get stuck in there. And what I'll probably do is, I saved some of the insulation. I would grab some and just kind of fill it in just a little bit, because if you put too much in there, the speaker's not gonna go in. But that will help deaden the sound, because these are real reflective surfaces, and you don't want that. You want to soften the sound as much as you can. So we're just gonna lightly put a little bit in there, and we'll just give it a better bass response and make it not sound so echoey. Connect the speaker wire to it. Again, if you're going to be like me and use your impact, ease up on the trigger. You can easily break these things up. Get the wire out of there. Then we're going to slap the level on it. Make sure it's level. Ooh, yeah. Make sure it's level. There we go. All right. Stick it back in, kind of just fluff it up a little bit, and that will help with some of the bass response, and also make it not so echoey in there, or reverb, or whatever you want to call it. Get your magnetic drill, open it up, pop that on. Now it's time to turn power back on. The Wi-Fi is not set up yet, because we're doing, this is 1, 2, 3, 4 stories. So we're doing multiple Wi-Fi access points. But once we get the Wi-Fi going, we'll go ahead and get the amp set up, make sure it's up and running. Then we can tuck it in there and get the cover plate and all that on there. And here's the final product. Speaker there, speaker there. The amp is hidden inside that box there. Got a little bit of drywall. And what's really nice is anybody with an iPhone can pull up anything they want. Like, here's YouTube. We hit play, and we're gonna airplay it. Standing room speakers.